Alright, I'm gonna start off this video by saying if you're squeamish, you might not want to watch it. This is my new guest, Trapper, a red-tailed hawk. A little on the small side, so probably a male. Trapper was named Trapper because unfortunately he was found caught in a legal foothold trap. And unfortunately, well, depending on how you look at it, he lost a toe, but it was only one, and it was one of the front ones, so he will be releasable. But right now he's recovering. He had to have, the injury sewn up. He is on antibiotics and painkillers. But right now he is in what I like to call a birdie burrito. Basically, I just wrapped him up in a towel. And the reason for that is, when birds come in, they're injured, they're scared, with these big mammals grabbing them all the time, and they don't always eat. And Trapper here decided he does not want to eat, so unfortunately I've got to force feed him. He's too thin, he needs the energy to heal correctly. Now I'm going to remind everybody that if you do find a bird or any other kind of wild animal, to contact a wildlife rehabber. You don't want to do this on your own. For starters, it's illegal. You have to have several state and federal licenses in order to do this, proper training, all that. But birds are a little different than mammals. We swallow something and we've got one pipe and then it splits off into your lungs or your stomach or whatever. Birds actually have two in their throat. And if you hit the wrong one, the food or the medication will go into their lungs and you could drown them. So you really need to know what you're doing. This is a little painkiller. Gross tasting, but it'll help that little toe injury. And then we have some antibiotic because we don't want it getting infected. Yeah, I know this probably doesn't taste very good either. So, one of my associates asked me if I could try to videotape this, so we are trying to do that. First, we're going to see if this poor bird will eat. Like I said, he hasn't been eating on his own. He's been very stressed, but he's actually helping me with his mouth open. Sometimes you actually have to pry their mouths open, and they really like to bite you if you try to do that. Come on, buddy. It's in there. Swallowing isn't his thing right now. Can you swallow that for me? I have had hawks do really well in terms of not eating on their own, and then as soon as you do this, they start swallowing no problem. It looks like Trapper is going to give me a hard time and not swallow. Now, not only does he just need food because he's healing, and obviously we all need to eat, but birds actually get a lot of their liquid, water and all that, from their food. He does have a water in his cage, and they can drink just like we can, but he definitely gets a lot of it from the food, and it would help if he was going to swallow this. I have lots of cut up food over here waiting for him. Come on. Rather try to bite me, huh? Well, we'll give him a minute to see if he can swallow that. So like I said, Trapper's probably a male. He is a red tail. We have no idea how old he is, but he's an adult. They get their red tail when they turn 2, which is when they hit sexual maturity. And another little interesting tidbit is their eyes actually get darker. And he's got some pretty dark eyes. So I'm guessing he's not a new adult. No. Looks like I'm gonna be here a while trying to feed this bird. But, you know, everybody pretty much knows what a red tail is. I have heard them called chicken hawks. There's actually a couple of different hawks called chicken hawks. It's not an official name. It's just something that people call certain hawks that like their chickens. Red tails like chickens. Still not gonna swallow? And they are very common. They are the largest hawk on the eastern side of North America and the second largest hawk in the country. They can be found almost anywhere in North America. They had the same problem that bald eagles did in terms of their population dwindling due to DDT some decades ago. What that was doing was it was getting into the food supply. There we go. And it was actually decreasing the amount of calcium that they were producing or they were getting in, and therefore their eggs were actually very fragile. So they would lay their eggs just like normal, except because the shell was thinner, because they were lacking the calcium, they'd end up crushing the eggs. So it was really dwindling their population. But like eagles, red-tailed hawks have made a good recovery, even better than eagles. Because they hit sexual maturity sooner, and they are now pretty much all over the place. Most people know what a red-tailed hawk is. There we go. You can see them oftentimes on the side of the highway, just sitting there scoping out their dinner. They are grassland birds, so you'll see them in fields. You can find them watching for tractors. A lot of birds, very smart birds. They will wait for the tractor to come by, and as the tractor pulls up whatever, does whatever that type of tractor does, it does sometimes end up killing some of the smaller animals like rodents, or it will kind of chase them out. And these hawks, they know what's up. Easy dinner. They'll wait behind and then clean up afterwards. Oh, I'm guessing most people know what I'm feeding, but just in case you don't, these are carnivores. They eat small mammals, rodents, sometimes the occasional snake or frog or anything like that. I'm feeding mouse guts. These were dead. I did not kill them. We don't feed live animals. But they've got to eat. Well, it's going to take a while, but he is slowly eating. Anyway, Trapper's going to be staying with me a while because he does need to be fed. But we're going to keep him on the antibiotics and the painkillers for a while, but because it was just the one toe and it was a pretty clean injury, he will have no problem getting released. Well, if he'll eat, he'll have no problem getting released. We will release him where he came from. We like to return birds, especially adult birds, where they came from, because not only do they have territories, but they have mates. And a lot of birds mate for life. You might even have a nest started already. So hopefully the injury will heal quickly and he can get back out there and stay out of traps. Anyway, like I said, this is Trapper, red-tailed hawk, and maybe I'll do another video later on, but hopefully he will start eating on his own. We, like to keep our influence minimal, but because he's an adult, he's not going to be attached. He really rather I leave him alone. Anyway, I'm Zandara with Whispering Willow Wild Care, and this is Trapper. Have a good night.